Greetings from beautiful, sunny Southern California. My name is Mike Feinstein. I'm a co-founder of the Green Party of California and a co-chair of the Green Party of the United States. Funny enough, I actually got my start as a Green from being in your country at the Findhorn community back in 1988 when I went to a conference called The Individual and the Collective, Politics as if the Whole Earth Mattered. At that conference, spirituality and politics came together for me. I was inspired by Green Party leaders such as Jonathan Porritt, who spoke there, and at the same time, I was reading the book The Green Party, The Global Promise by Charlene Spretnak and Fritjof Capra about the German Greens. Now today, 21 years later, I'm speaking to you here from where I live to where you live. The Green Party is a planetary response to the unsustainability of our lifestyle as a species. And beyond any cultural differences that we have, we share common values in dealing with that unsustainability around ideas of justice and ecology and democracy and nonviolence. Today I want to briefly talk about the idea that green is the color of money. What do Greens mean by that? Well, what we mean is that money is a means of exchange. And as a means of exchange, it should incorporate what we value. Well, as Greens, what do we value? We value each other, we value the other species that we share this planet with, and we value Mother Earth that sustains us. In fact, that's why I'm here filming from the ocean, where the elements of the sky and the earth and the water come and meet together. Well, if we value all of these things, what does that mean to us as Greens? How does that happen in the real world? As Greens, we believe in a full cycle analysis of goods, services, and practices, where we try and really understand all the real costs of what we're doing. And in so doing, there's a concept not just of the environment and the ecology, but of social justice. Not only social justice between individual people and different cultures and nations, but justice in between the human species and the other species, and between our generation and future generations. The concept of thinking 7 generations ahead, is something that the Green Party embodies in its everyday practice. Well, in everyday practice, what does that mean then? One of the tools that we incorporate in our work is the idea of true cost pricing, or real cost pricing, where the real costs of goods and services are incorporated in the actual cost of those goods and services, so that the environmental, ecological, and social realities are there in the marketplace, so that the marketplace actually incorporates what's real, the real value that we place upon the planet. That's why as Greens, we favor approaches like carbon taxes rather than cap and trade, because it truly internalizes the real costs about living on this planet. Now, what does that mean for planning for a society? The old gray parties, they talk about increasing gross domestic product and economic growth. But when you talk about GDP or GNP that way, we know that that doesn't differentiate between what's good for the planet and what's bad for the planet. It's just a measure of the entropy of what's going on, how fast we use up the resources. But we know as Greens that that's not in balance with Mother Earth, and that economic indicators like that actually lead us to undermine the basis of how we live, not to live sustainably in balance with it. The real color of money being green, where it reflects our real values and so internalizes costs, also leads us to price renewables differently. It promotes renewable energy, renewable use of resources, reduce, reuse, recycle. In the long run, when you internalize costs there, it makes those practices more economical, and it makes destructive practices less economical. When you combine that with a tax shift, where you reduce taxes on people's income, and you raise it on the things that we don't want to see happening, what does that do? It makes it easier to work and employ people, which is a social justice issue, and it makes it more expensive to pollute and to destroy the planet, which is an environmental issue. Together, the green tax shift, by internalizing costs and reducing taxes on work, together is a solid basis for true economic development that is sustainable and just. And the thing today, here I am, it's the end of October, and it's hot here at the beach in Southern California. You start to think every year, what about climate change? Should it really be this warm? I mean, I'm liking it today, but should it really be this warm? Should I be in the ocean this late in the year? Well, that brings us to the biggest externality at all, climate change. In the Maldives Islands, just had a cabinet meeting below water because their island is going to be underneath water because of climate change. Well, the effects of climate change are the effects of us denying all of the costs for all these years that we've externalized onto the rest of the planet. Eventually those feedback loops will undermine us. But it's not too late, and that's why you're meeting today. It's not too late because there is a global green movement. We have an interconnection between all of us on this planet, and the same problems, the same way that we haven't lived in balance with our planet that have led us to all these problems, if we turn that around and start doing the things in the right way, including by having an economic system that internalizes environmental costs of goods and services, then the path back to sustainability can come as quickly as the path that led us away. With that, I wish you a great weekend, much success, and solidarity from Greens here in California and the United States. Bye-bye.
All the leaves are